offline.
My wine made a farting noise.
That's a farting noise?
No.
I really do want to hear someone who can fart like...
I will try my best, sir. And welcome everyone to the Chimichanga Superstar Podcast. I'm your host, Christian, and with me as always is Haley with the news. Say hi. Say hi. Sorry,
Hello.
Joining us already off to a great start. Hi, Jimmy. Welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
Jimmy, what do you do again? I forgot.
I'm a cartoonist. I work on various projects.
Gross.
I'm with A3 Publishing. My main claim to fame is my webcomic, Been Better Comic. You can find it at binbettercomic.com. It's actually just called Been Better, but the website is binbettercomic.com. I'm also the artist for Dark Crusader, Book of Red. Book of Red is going to come back this summer.
Ooh. New book or just continuation?
Continuation, because I trailed off the last chapter, chapter 4.
Mm-hmm.
I never finished it, so now I'm going to finish it this summer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was at Free Comic Day recently, just like this past weekend. This kid came up and started talking to me about Book of Red and knew a lot of the plot points and was talking to me about it. And I was like,
my God.
I gotta finish it now because that kid likes it.
How does that feel, though?
That felt good to talk about my plot and what the kid liked. And I was like, I gotta do it for him now.
Damn. Do you remember the kid's name?
Nope.
Nope. Well, screw you, kid. There is one question I did have. A3 Publishing. What does that stand for again?
Acrobatic, anthropologic, acorns.
Okay. I forget.
Is it?
I'm sorry. Haley, I forget every time, so I always got to ask him.
See, this is the first time that Jimmy and I are really hanging out,
Yeah.
so I'm very excited. I know nothing about his life, but I'm here for it.
The shtick about A3 is that I always make up a new answer.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my comic strip, like, I'll have once a month, I'll explain what A3 stands for, and it's never the same.
That's fantastic. I dig it so much.
Which is why I always forget, I think. Or it's the beer. Speaking of which.
Are we getting in on the beer? Because I keep wanting to drink it.
Yeah.
And I want to save the first drink.
Well, as I'm trying to transition to the beer. Yeah, okay, well, fine. For
double
Jimmy's
stout.
sake. Yes. I know you like stouts, but we are drinking from a Giant's Bane.
Giant's Bane?
I felt like getting this in
Like
honor...
Tarman Giant's Bane?
Exactly.
Yes.
The young child that stabs a giant in the eye deserves a beer, so I decided to get this in her name.
Oh, Rip Liana.
Yeah, it's a double stout to
Fair State Co-op.
I've had a couple of things from them before, but I can't remember them, so I'm going to drink this now.
I was wondering what the FS stood for.
That's fantastic.
Wow, you could taste how barely of a barrel that is. I like it.
That is good. That's a lot of flavor.
Really smoky and toasty.
As always, I am drinking wine.
Mm-hmm. The Haley Special. And I was straight from the tap, by the way.
Just this time.
Just this time, we're going to eventually get you a wine bong.
What is that?
Well, it's just basically you're going to have like a little hose sitting by your head just to lean over and just suckle on.
Like a hamster?
Like a hamster?
Like a hamster, yeah.
Yeah, I saw the bottle on
We both
the
said
cage
the same
bottle.
thing.
It's perfect.
That makes me so happy. We're both
You're just
like,
gonna lean
like
over?
a hamster?
Exactly.
With the the licking, just like.
Yeah, I'm going to put the little ball there. It's going to give you a jaw workout while you get drunk.
I love stouts so much.
Yeah, right?
What do you like about stouts, Jimmy?
It's got a lot of flavor.
Mm-hmm.
It
What
makes
kind
it
of
worth it.
Makes
Well,
it
no, because like
worth it.
if you drink a beer and it doesn't have too much flavor, I'm like, why am I doing this? If it doesn't have too much flavor and it doesn't get me where I need to be, then I don't.
I like stouts a little bit nutty, a little chocolatey, more desserty, but it's also thick, and it's very easy to drink.
No, I feel like stouts have
Muppet
more
babies.
complexity to their flavor.
Okay.
Like there's actually something to pay attention to and unravel.
So, like, is it like a hoppy complexity?
Stouts are not very hoppy at all. They're actually...
That's IPA.
Would you like to try?
Yeah, I actually do want to try.
Yeah, I'm
Spit,
closer.
you want more?
Oh,
Damn it.
thank you, Jimmy.
I was going to hurl mine across, see if you wanted to catch.
Oh my god, that's good.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Do I like stouts?
You
It
should-
might.
Understandable.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's actually got flavor. It's not
'Cause, like,
just...
the thing I hate about beer is like that hoppy, weedy flavor.
Yeah.
Not about it.
Correct.
We should take you to a couple of breweries and let you spread your wings and fly.
Yeah.
Because I've learned a lot of people don't like beer, and that's perfectly fine. But there's a lot of people who also don't like beer because they think beer is the shitty shit you buy into shitty cans.
No.
Yeah.
But they're like wine now because of the widespread love of people doing microbreweries. Love to have their vast variety of prize-winning and non-prize-winning awesome beer of awesomeness.
So this stout actually tastes kind of like coffee.
Stout a lot of times has like very similar flavors as far as being malty. It's a dark beer.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to what was it called? It was like Ballast Point. It was Ballast Point in San Diego, and my buddy Dunford, he took me there and he got us a flight, and so I got to try different flavors of beer. And this was back when I wasn't really too much of a beer drinker, and I had that experience with beer where I thought it was just going to be this Bud Light.
Yeah.
But
No, there's so many different flavors that go with, and I fell in love with stout.
That's how I found beer. It used to be that beer was nasty, beer made me break out and whatever. Turns out I had this weird hop issue when I was younger.
Do you?
Yeah.
Thank God I grew out of that because now I love IPAs. But same situation. Someone sat me down at a brewery and gave me a flight, and I tried them out. I fell in love with both stouts and IPAs that day.
I'm going to get you Belgian Beaver.
What is that?
Ooh.
There's a peanut butter milk stout that I love.
They have a few variations of that too now.
It's really good.
So let's help Haley
cool.
find beer.
Yeah.
When I went to Moe's Tavern at Universal Studios in Florida, I ordered a stout, and the guy's like, he pauses and he's like, "Just so you know, this is a dark beer." I was like, "Yeah." That's why I saw the word stout and ordered it.
That was the call I made. That was the choice. This is a volition. Calm down.
I mean, he works with a lot of tourists, so I wouldn't be surprised if if someone's like, "Oh, I don't like this. This is a dark beer," and he's like, "Well, yeah, it's whatever."
I think that might be the difference of experience because I worked as a bartender several times, but I've never worked at a brewery. I've never had to explain much on what beer is, but I've had to tell people what rum is versus what whiskey is. You've had to have those conversations, or what do you mix with what?
Can I pray to Satan?
Are you a Satanist?
No.
Oh, okay.
He's
I'm
just
a
chaotic.
shit starter.
You're just in general.
This is one of the reasons I hang out with Jimmy, is he's a fellow chaotic friend.
Okay.
He's got a big golden heart, but he's pure chaos just waiting to happen.
That's fair.
As long as the chaos entertains him, though.
Exactly. It's not chaotic good or chaotic neutral. It's chaotic funny.
Yeah, it's this weird midpoint.
Chaotic funny.
It's got to be entertaining.
My favorite memory to prove this was when we were at Vegas, the convention together, and we just casually, waiting for people to come in, started talking about if we gained power rings. And clearly Jimmy gained a Sinestro ring, a yellow ring, which
did he?
basically was to implement fear.
Oh, yeah.
But first thing this motherfucker comes up with, and I'm still trying not to laugh myself to death right now.
A spiked dildo.
Worse. What was it?
Shit.
An army of gremlin Larry Kings.
That is so oddly specific and beautiful.
And that's what I love about comedy, is that if you go oddly specific, it's like, why are they Larry King?
I love it so much.
But it would be terrifying if you just saw an army of Larry King gremlins
absolutely.
riding through the streets. That would be scary.
Crawling up onto the tables in the booth. Hey, let me interview you for a second. Give me your microphone.
But you think, as you see them scurrying, you're like, why the fuck are they Larry Kings? Who decided this? There's no God.
That's why I keep hoping that one day, Jimmy, you were the Antichrist after all. I
that
think
would be weird.
That would just be my favorite way to go.
That'd be weird, because Satan would be like, hey, guess what? I'm like, yeah? You're the Antichrist. Damn it. That's a lot of responsibility. I haven't read the Bible. I've heard the Cliff Notes, and he does a lot of work. I'll pass. Can I call him sick?
So, I actually took a class on Revelation dealing with the Antichrist. And here's the thing, is there isn't actually like a Antichrist. Like, Satan's not gonna saddle up to you and be like, hey, so you get a promotion. It's more like...
he's not the guy from Office Max?
No.
Office Space.
Office Space.
Hey,
one day I'll get that promotion.
Hey, I'm going to need you to put a cover report on your apocalypse.
That would be great. No, actually, so the concept of the Antichrist is anyone who just, like, is really,
Popular?
popular. No, it's like anyone who, how do I phrase this?
With words.
I'm trying. I'm
With
drunk
sounds.
and I'm trying.
Aruga.
Aruga. It's more like anyone who really just is super against the whole concept of like what canon Jesus stands for, which is like loving everybody.
Okay.
Like true equality.
I think your version of canon Jesus and my version of canon Jesus will always be different, because my version of canon Jesus is a version of Jesus that early on lost a leg and it was replaced with an active cannon.
Oh.
And he had to perform miracles.
Why did he lose his leg?
I'm pretty confident it was a freak carpentry accident.
Oh, yeah. And just was like, you know what would be great instead of a leg? A straight up cannon.
No, that wasn't by choice.
Tarantino movie where that girl has the machine gun for a leg?
Yeah, it's very much like that, because she didn't
Planet
like
Terror.
that thing. Neither did he. This wasn't Jesus' choice. He didn't want a weapon of destruction for a leg.
I love it.
He woke up with that. It was God's plan, or his
but
plan, or someone's plan.
To have a cannon.
Cannon
for a leg.
is like one of the least convenient weapons for Jesus to have. He really has to want it.
Why does Jesus need a weapon at all?
That's the thing. He doesn't need it. Now it's just a burden. And it's
an
not even a
accessory.
good weapon.
No.
It's a shitty cannon.
Yeah.
So it's just a double-ended, shitty, rusted sword.
He can't shoot it while standing.
No,
he has to load that
He can.
shit. No, he's got to load it, because if he stands, it's going to slide out. It's not a gun where you can arm it. You have to roll the ball in.
Hey, this is the Son of God. I'm sorry, I don't know how their family works, but either way, it's God's offspring. He could do whatever he wants with his balls.
Except for getting a tree to grow figs out of fig season.
Ooh, speaking of, now I'm getting to the part of my drunk where I want snacks.
Oh, good. Well, you know what? We'll eventually get to the news at some point.
Yeah.
What I care about right now is the fact that white people can't have fun at parties.
They can't have fun parties. Well, no, they make up really weird parties, and they're not fun.
Like what? Like themed
Engagement
parties?
party?
Oh, engagement.
Gender reveal party?
I like the gender reveal party.
Why?
Because
That's
I think
weird.
it's fun. Why is it weird?
Why do you have to celebrate that with a party?
Because it's fun. It's like more information about the baby.
In a really weird, extravagant way, an unnecessarily extravagant way.
Oh, okay. Yes, I agree to the level that extravagancy has gotten to.
Yeah.
But not necessarily like the concept of the party.
If I have a kid, I don't want one. If I ever a kid, I'm not gonna have a party.
Baby
when I find
Jimmy
out.
Daddy.
I'm not gonna have a party for the gender reveal.
There's going to be
See,
some
I definitely
lucky
would.
lady.
If I
like-
did, it'd be a whodunit.
Oh my god. Okay, so Jimmy, okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm definitely going to have a baby. Not now, but eventually.
Cool.
And it's going to be yours.
How dare you? I just said I don't want a kid.
No, so like, I do want to have a gender reveal party, but I think a whodunit would be fantastic.
Because then someone
my
would
God.
vote at the end and it was like, I think it's a boy, and it was done with the candles.
Damn.
Because honestly, I mean, like, my husband and I have different, like, if we talk about, like, oh, like, what do you think it would be, what do you want to have first, or what would you like to have first, a girl or a boy? It's more of a competitive thing. Does that make sense?
I want to know what you mean
That's
by
an option.
competitive. Do you mean that you want a girl and he wants a guy? And
Yeah.
okay.
And then, like, if it's a girl, I can be like, suck it, bitch.
You know what? You know what's great though?
However, later on when the child
Side.
But that's the thing,
we'll have
though.
a whole nother gender reveal party.
That's the beauty of it all. That means that, yeah, when that little shit pops out and goes, yo, look at my dick. It could be 15 years when they're like, you know what? I don't go by he anymore. And then the other parent go, yo, what dick? You know, the game continues.
Oh, yeah.
Parenthood
and then
goes
you
on.
Have a whole...
Yeah.
I'm not going to have a gender reveal party. It's going to be the doctor being like, hey, there's a penis. I'm like, all right, that's cool.
They'll figure it out later.
Well, now I know how to teach it how to pee.
Yeah.
My worry is the other end, doctor. I can clean up a peed diaper a lot. That's easy. But when it kind of dries up and clings on...
That's when you just hose them down.
Have you ever seen a baby when they're first born and they take their first dump?
Yeah.
No.
It's all
Yes.
black goo.
It looks
like a
like
slime.
black tar heroin.
Wasn't it just like nutrients?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
I'm looking forward to drunk news reading.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm excited.
Holy
Okay.
shit, I just realized, Haley, you are halfway through a bottle of wine by the time I'm halfway through a can of beer.
Oh, my
I
beer's
came
gone.
to win.
I think you're my spirit animal.
It's really
I think
good.
I might just be.
Hmm.
So here's some entertainment
really
news.
good.
Thank you. Do you want some more?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you guys know, the Sonic the Hedgehog movie
The
was
what?
just released. Sonic the Hedgehog.
The Sonus?
Sonic.
I love you. Sorry.
The trailer.
Yeah,
This is
the
why I
trailer
have
was
the
just
big mic. I
released.
can hide behind it.
And here's the thing. It was so bad that they're going to spend like millions to fix it.
It was really bad.
So the first footage of the film arrived 2 weeks ago from when this will be released.
Mm-hmm.
But in our current time, it was like 6 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
There was such bad fan backlash that the director Jeff Fowler took to Twitter to respond. Shit. He says, the message is loud and clear, Fowler tweeted. You aren't happy with the design and you want changes. It's gonna happen.
We're not.
They could have
So-
saved up money and just posted the image of him. No, they did. They did. They posted the image, and everyone was
Yeah.
like, "That looks like crap,"
And they ignored it.
ignored it.
This could actually potentially cost millions and still not be enough to actually fix it because they still are projecting the November 8th release.
Well, you got to stop and think about two sides of this coin, in my opinion.
No, I thought you were
One,
going down a list. Are we responding to every story, or just going down a list?
we're responding to the story.
Okay.
We'll talk about the story.
If we want to. We don't care.
Do you have opinions about this?
His design looks like shit. However, I'm looking forward to Jim Carrey being a weird villain.
I mean, he already kind of played that game.
Yeah, but it's weird because like we saw Eggman in all of his Eggman glory at the end of the trailer, and you're just like, why didn't you do that with Sonic? Why didn't you? Because Eggman looks exactly like Eggman's supposed to look like at the end. Why can't we see Sonic look?
The trailer itself says every hero has a genesis. The idea could have been early on that it was actually a hedgehog transforming into what we see, and we could have eventually gotten exactly what you're talking about.
That's weird.
That could have been what they intended, but the backlash could have been bad. The double-sided coin I was talking about is that when you have a crew of animators and a crew of designers and artists, those two will work together in certain regards, but the designers, they're going to be working all the time on changing that, and that just has to be reapplied over and over again. So that can be done, but it does cost that much because you have to go rehire that crew that already made the other one.
Well, no. And then, like, so I went to Twitter to see, like, how everyone actually felt about this. And one of the main things were like, no, if you're going to change it and you're going to do it the right way, don't keep the same release date. Like, push it back so that your designers and your animators have enough time to properly put in the effort that they need to do this right. And what's funny is the biggest backlash from fans is that Sonic's teeth look hyper realistic or like human teeth.
The whole thing about him looks too humanistic. The head is too small. The body is all human shaped and proportion, just shrunk down like a leprechaun instead. And it doesn't feel like... Okay, so Detective Pikachu's coming out. They'd worked really hard to make a quote-unquote realistic-looking version of
But
those
he looks
Pokemon.
exactly the same.
They didn't change the design of them. They just changed the texture of them to make it...
I think Detective Pikachu is going to show us that... Show the studios, because we all know it. Mm-hmm. Show the studios that a direct interpretation is successful.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I'm looking so forward to that movie.
Do you think this might be the big punt that starts them down the Nintendo film franchise that they've been threatening for this whole time? Because they're already talking about doing Mario.
It could, because like when I recently saw a new trailer for it where it showed a Pokemon battle, and I think I heard someone say it was Gengar. I couldn't tell what it was, but it was definitely a ghost Pokemon. And their battle looks so cool. It looks so cool seeing live action and realistic, but it's a direct interpretation of this character design.
I
but
have
realistic.
one criticism about Detective Pikachu is that although I am excited about Ryan Reynolds as the voice, I was secretly hoping for Danny DeVito.
I think a lot of the internet was as well. That was a large vote for a while.
I'm glad it's not.
Really?
I would want someone to really keep the energy going up, and I don't think Danny DeVito does that. Danny DeVito is a good supporting character.
No, I just think it would be hilarious that Pikachu is such this, like, cute little, like, oh my goodness. And you expect this, like, really high-pitched voice. And then just, like, when you finally hear him, it's the deep and gravelly Danny DeVito. And here's the thing, is I feel like Danny DeVito's proven through It's Always Sunny that he can keep his energy up.
But I feel like in Sunny, he's a really good supporting comic element with Charlie.
Fair. Sure.
Because Charlie is the energy. He's over the...
See, no one even really cared about my vote, which was Michael Cera with a gun pointed at him the entire time.
That's
Otherwise, every time he drinks coffee, the gun gets aimed closer at his head.
That's correct. I'm glad no one took your vote.
As he's less caffeinated, the gun's aimed further away from him, so he's more relaxed.
Cool.
That's my hope. I was hoping that someone would threaten Michael Cera's life this whole time.
So,
okay. No, go ahead.
No, I want more news.
That was really all I had about.
That's all you had.
Story.
All right. I don't like the design of Sonic. I really hate this design of Sonic. And Alex Hirsch, the creator of Gravity Falls, he went on a whole Twitter thread about what they should have done with the Sonic movie, and it's really well written. It doesn't sound like a rant. It's actually well written and explains what the studio should have done when they were creating Sonic, and it's beautiful.
Fantastic.
I think it's pretty awesome. The only thing the trailer even remotely did well was the final shot of Jim Carrey in the big Mushroom Hill area.
Yeah, but I like
from Sonic 3, by the way.
Yeah, but I like seeing Jim Carrey be that character. Like, his most recent things have not been that interesting to me because he's just gotten just really weird.
Jim Carrey is honestly like in a world
crazy
of his own.
in a good way.
Have you seen his episode of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee?
Yeah,
crazy,
it's wild.
Mm-hmm.
He's gotten weird.
Yeah,
and but I like seeing him as Eggman. He's really fun. Like that first scene where he's like, "Are you in charge?" and him with the mustache and like the dictator kind of uniform is really fun.
You know what's funny is I didn't really think people like that existed, and if I had seen that scene of Jim Carrey doing that maybe 5 years ago, I'd have thought to myself, this is Jim Carrey really not doing a good job.
Yeah.
But now, having interacted with a lot of people just like that, that was Jim Carrey doing a spot-on version of what I call a true dickhole.
Yeah, I can see that. I see a lot of people out online like trying to start shit.
It feels very much filtered, very much like there's no repercussion of anything I say or do.
And I like his mustache. Someone posted that. It's like one of my friends on Facebook said that they were surprised at how attracted they were to
Jim Carrey with a handlebar mustache,
Robotnik Jim Carrey. And I'm like, I can see it.
I mean, damn, I love that haircut.
Yeah.
As a woman.
Could anyone ever imagine in the past
woman.
before seeing Jim Carrey now, could either of you ever remotely, anyone listening in too, chime in if you wanted to talk about it, but anyone here ever think they'd think Robotnik was sexy?
Never.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Just Jim Carrey's Robotnik.
I wonder if that's his real mustache, by the way, or if that's...
Oh, that's a valid question, because he does grow a full beard.
Yeah.
Well, time to find out. Haley, move on to the next story while I tweet to
so
Jim
I have
Carrey.
a question for you guys. semi-local, well,
Or slow and hard.
semi-political local news.
Uh-oh.
Wieners.
Okay, so this directly affects me as I am a resident of this city.
Mm-hmm.
But,
What city?
Riverside.
Okay.
I.E.
So, Riverside City Council candidate acknowledges that he made racist comments.
Beer.
But he says he just didn't mean them.
Fuck you! What's this guy's name?
His name is John David Denelofs.
Okay, before you continue the story. John, fuck you.
Thanks.
Hold on. Repeat his name.
John David Denelofs.
John David
It sounds-
Dingleheimer Dick.
His name
That's
is my
it.
name too. Whenever we go out, the racists always shout, "There goes
John Jacob Dick Hole Expend. Sorry.
So, okay, I guess in the past he created videos and made phone calls with messages that he acknowledges are racist. Like the statements that he made, like, argue that anyone who waves the Mexican flag in the United States should be killed,
That's what he said?
Wow.
as should Muslims, and I quote, the people who made laws where it's safe for Muslims.
Super Dick.
He refers to people on the street, black people on the street, by the N-word, and uses a vulgar term for women that I refuse to look up.
Dick Hole.
And he said that Donald Trump should declare martial law and kill 6 million people. Mind you, that's the same amount of people that died in the Holocaust.
Oh my god.
So most of these comments occurred during the 2016 election. Denelofs now says that the statements didn't reflect his actual opinions. He said, and I quote, "I didn't believe it when I said it back then," Denelofs said like this on April 29th. He claims it was just to get the most likes on his Facebook group page called What's Up Riverside. To get people to disagree with him, proving that people are inherently good, and to root out and block members who did hold racist views on the page. There's actually a photo of him attending Black Lives Matter protest,
Okay.
but he's wearing a shirt that says, "I support the police."
Oh, what a prick.
What a fucking dumbass. So,
I'm actively going to go against him now.
oh yeah. Shit, yeah.
Fuck.
So,
Well, because I prior to this conversation, I had no interest in going against him because I didn't know he existed.
yeah.
Now I do.
Okay, so there you go. So, Denelofs is actually of Vietnamese descent, but he was raised by a white stepfather, so he identifies as white.
Ah, stepdads.
He claims that people in his personal life know he's not racist or sexist,
No.
and would not have made the videos if he knew he was going to run to represent Riverside's Ward 7, which is the southwestern corner of the city.
I've got a black friend.
The election is June 4th. Don't, like, here's the thing is he's like, no. Like, it was all a show. I was just trying to get a rise out of people. Like, that's not who I really am.
What I love about, like, okay, so James Gunn's tweets were pretty awful.
Uh-huh.
But those were long ago, and he has apologized for it.
Right.
He has accepted it. He's deleted it. But this guy is just standing true. He's owning it.
Oh, he's not apologizing, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
So he says, and I quote, "I don't know what to say to my voters," who refers to the series of videos as a show. He says, "Do I apologize? No, I can't, because at the time that I did it, I was doing a show."
What a prick.
I know. So then, here's what's funny, is like his Facebook groups that he's like run were not very heavily monitored. So it was like a free speech kind of deal. And some people in those groups stand by him and some are not so sure.
Game on, motherfucker.
So there's actually an admin for a second Facebook group called What's Going On in Riverside County. Her name is Ana Sofia Miramontes, who was an active restraining order against Denelofs because he verbally attacks her a lot in many of the videos. The court records show that the restraining order expires in July of 2020, and she plans to renew it.
Smart.
So, Denilofts is legally forbidden to attend any civic events that she attends. Miramontes is actually a member of the Riverside Public Utilities Board and a representative of the Greater Riverside Chambers of Commerce for Ward 6 and 7. She attends those meetings a lot. In fact, already Denilofts was removed from a candidate forum because Miramontes was there. Something that was interesting, so Brian Levin, who's the director of the Center of the Study of Hate and Extremism at Cal State San Bernardino. Sorry, you guys. Super drunk.
Don't worry.
He
no, you're
stated,
not. Remember, we just started.
Thank you.
I don't think anyone's going to be like, oh, how dare she mispronounce San Bernardino.
Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate your support.
Super support.
Brian Levin stated that that's why these white nationalist messages are so pernicious. He says in the past, it wouldn't make it into the social political mainstream because social media wasn't as dispersed. But now what we're seeing is a spectrum of bigotry over the internet where even though you may not see swastikas and Klan hoods in all of them, they're done in such a way to ensnare people based on their fears and stereotypes.
Correct.
Well, this guy's running for something, which means that he needs to not be voted in. And if this guy thinks he can backpedal, pick a side, stand for anything now, the problem is he didn't stand for something previously. He simply picked up a flag and waved it when it wasn't something he stood for. Therefore, my stance, dear John, we need to break up. You shouldn't be voted in because you are not a leader. You're a follower, and we don't like you much, so
and here's the
don't
thing.
bother.
I'm a Riverside voter. You're going to think fucking twice if you think that I'm actually going to vote for a piece of shit like that. The last thing I have is, we kind of briefly touched about this last week. I'm going to take my cans out because I think that was what was tripping
Wow,
me
look
up
at those
earlier.
cans. Didn't expect them to hang so low.
What cans?
My headphones, whatever. Podcasty words. Okay.
Cans? No, they're cans. The thing is in your ears. They're cans.
Thingies in my ears.
What's that phrase on Tea Room? Two can sound better than one toucan can.
Yep.
All I remember from the
See,
Tiki
Jimmy
Room is
knows.
the sound of two genitals clapping together, lonely
Okay.
in a rainy night.
So we talked about this last week about how Avengers did super, super well their first weekend.
Yay!
But I have some stats for y'all.
Yay, stats!
So the domestic total that the Avengers brought in as of May 5th is $619 million. Over $619 million.
Gross.
Opening weekend, they made $357 million, which was fascinating because production cost was $356 million.
Jesus.
So they just first weekend made a cool million on top of making back what they spent for this fucking thing. They made over $157 million the first day domestically.
The first day, was that included with like pre-ticket sales?
No,
Oh,
that's just the first day.
awesome.
Worldwide, they have made a total of about $2.2 billion.
So they made a couple of bucks back.
Just a few. And
It's a huge
the
investment.
daily grosses in every theater. There's about like 4,400 theaters that have Avengers Endgame currently. They daily gross no less than $21 million a day.
So Disney's making Disney money again,
Yeah.
is what you're trying to tell me.
Yes, that is exactly what I'm
They've
telling
simply
you.
enhanced what Disney money means.
To be fair, and this is why I love Avengers Endgame, and we're never going to see this happen again.
Right.
This has been an 11-year project in the making. It's this big artistic project that, like I said, we're never going to see it again. It's so weird to invest so much money on world-building movies that you're not necessarily going to see the return from elements of the story until later in the films. And there's a lot of investment that was going on to get us where we are now that most studios are not brave enough to do.
What if someone went bigger?
How?
What if someone brought all of Disney Unity together and one day all of the Disney everything.
Oh yeah, that's the House of Mouse.
The House of Mouse ties together
House of Mouse. Well, here's what's
into
interesting.
one big culminative overline cinematic story sequence.
No, but you would need a plot that goes over
of course
years.
you need a plot. You needed a plot to make this happen.
Yeah, and that was 2012.
Uh-huh.
With that one smirk from
think
Thanos
bigger.
looking at the camera like, hey guys, you don't know who I am, but it's
But-
going to be big.
Think bigger. Think about the kids that are about to be born next. If you start a film franchise that's going to hit right when they're going to start watching cartoons and roll, and you could have literally the exact baby cartoons they grow up with them all the way until adulthood, when the same little baby that was goo goo gaga counting shit with them could be in a movie with them, doing this big cinematic thing when they're in their 20s, and it blows their mind. That's the bigger scale I'm talking about. That's an entire lifetime.
I don't think a lot of studios have that kind of guts.
Okay, so here's what I found was interesting.
Yeah.
Wieners.
The next biggest franchise was Star Wars. So The Force Awakens actually, didn't nearly match them. But domestically, over their course of their run, made about 990 million dollars domestically.
So, a few bucks.
Just a few. Which is kind of upsetting that it's all so Disney, but still, it's some good shit. So that was really fascinating to me. Fun fact: worldwide, China already, it's about $660 million that they've made already in Endgame. China's really big on Avengers.
Yeah.
Oh, they're
definitely.
huge. They were at a big press junket thing, and Feige announced that there is, in fact, during Phase 4, going to be a Chinese-based Avenger or someone in the MCU. Really? And the stadium
I forget the name,
wild.
but did you see on IMDb?
It's that one guy, the kung fu guy. I can remember who he is, but I can't recall.
He's gonna be a kung fu master, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
On
I'm hoping it's a
IMDb,
better
what would
version
it
of
be?
Iron Fist.
Good luck. Good luck. If you go on Google and look up martial art or kung fu and Marvel, it'll probably be the first one that comes up.
Lemonparty.org.
Why Lemon Party?
It's just, you know what, Jimmy? I can't do this to you.
Kung Fu Avengers.
Kung
Civil
Fu-
War, Iron Man versus Captain America. Kung Fu Avengers Civil War. Civil War gets
Nope.
a 1980s
Here we go.
Hong Kong remake.
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
Yeah, Master of Kung Fu. Because all I put was Kung Fu and Marvel, because he's going to be the first big...
I just put Kung Fu Avengers.
Oh, okay.
Shang-Chi.
Yeah, Shang-Chi.
Well, with all the
Fantastic.
talk of with Avengers, though, that is kind of why we're here today. Jimmy, you and I went to see Endgame together recently. That was an experience. That was not just a simple movie going.
No. You spent a lot of money on that date.
Well, yeah, come on, man. Look at you.
Well, one of my favorite moments was when you bought 3 drinks.
Oh God! When I was just gonna buy the 2.
Yeah, it was great. Okay, so when we were walking into the theater, we passed by the sign that said it had a list of different drinks that were themed along the lines of the Avenger movies.
Which we were rushing. We didn't
rushing
care
through.
about anything.
And we passed by and we saw Kraken, and Kraken was in the Snap drink.
I could
It was
almost
called
hear
Snap.
the screech of your brakes.
Yeah.
What's
I was like,
this?
Kraken, I love Kraken. And we order it, and Christian orders 3 drinks. One for me, one for him.
Initially, I wasn't going to order anything at all, but I saw that the drink was called Oh Snap, and
Yeah.
your response when I said that was too priceless.
The person was like, are you going to order anything? Because she assumed that you were going to drink both O Snaps.
Yes. And then when she casually looks over at you, anything for you? I just ordered 2 Kraken-based Long Island iced teas. So of course,
And I asked her, I was like, do normal people just drink 2 drinks during the course of a movie? That's
her very casual nod threw me for a story on its own, though.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Haley, I went ahead and ordered the other drink, which I can't even remember what it's called, and
I
it
can't
really
remember
wasn't that
that one.
good.
I love that I'm all about Avengers, and Haley is not as invested.
No, she
No,
cares
I've
more.
never.
But
I haven't.
snacks will always be Haley's
But
I
drive.
did watch it for like the pop culture aspect of it, but I like do it on my own time.
But I feel like you are passionately invested in Game of Thrones.
Yes, very.
And I couldn't care less.
And this
I could care less, but not as...
That's what last week's episode was
and
entirely
that's why
about.
we bring balance to the Force, Jimmy.
Awesome.
It was funny because last week you didn't make it, and we were actually going to talk both Game of Thrones and Avengers.
Yeah.
But Haley has too much Game of Thrones in her.
Yeah.
So we didn't get any time for Avengers. So here we are today.
At a friend's party, I started singing the Wieners song from South Park. Have you heard that song?
No, I have
It
not.
was because they were talking about how the fact that there are no erect penises in Game of Thrones.
Like,
a complete fallacy, by the way.
See?
You don't see it.
Right.
Because even like they took a break from sex and they walked away, the penis is completely like.
Well, you know why, right?
Because they finished.
Yeah, but
they're all one pump chumps.
the wiener just doesn't go after sex.
Everyone throughout all of Game of Thrones, as soon as they're done coming, they don't have enough muscles to keep pumping away afterwards. They got to just put it away.
But they made a joke about South Park, and they had the theme song with like wieners, floppy wieners, and I start seeing that at a friend's house, and they're like, you don't have to sing about wieners. I was like, well, I'm quoting South Park, and they're like, oh, that makes sense. And I was just like, yeah, why would I sing about floppy wieners on just like randomly?
Just of your own volition.
Yeah.
Okay, Jimmy, if you could fix Game of Thrones with hard wieners, where would you apply these hard wieners?
I don't know Game of Thrones.
Everywhere.
Okay, you don't count because that's just your...
Tell you what.
Hard wieners is your fix to everything,
When
Haley.
we first seen the...
Let's be real. There would be a lot more world peace if there were hard wieners everywhere.
I disagree with that completely.
No, I do agree with that entirely.
How?
One of my wishes, if I could actually rub a lamp and Will Smith would pop out, I would. One of my wishes, preloaded, is all ready to go. I wish every lethal weapon in the planet would be replaced by a very high quality silicone dildo.
That's not the same thing.
It is not the same thing.
That is exactly the same thing. This is my world we live in. Thank you.
Sure. Who's the zombie king?
Me.
The Night King?
Yeah, that's him. Right when we first see him, erect penises.
Well, yeah, because they're like...
Have you looked at him? Of course my penis was erect.
Have you ever heard of a rage boner? Come on.
I've never had a rage boner.
Never had a rage
Never
boner?
had a rage
Really?
boner. I've heard of it, but I've never had one.
No?
That just doesn't make any sense to me.
Oh my god.
I've never been so angry.
Yeah.
That you
No.
just get rock
They exist.
hard.
No.
They're real. I've had two. One of them,
Cool.
my foot was all the way down on the pedal and going, I should not be going this fast, but I don't care.
And you just got a boner.
I had a boner before I did that. I think the
Okay.
boner kind of inspired me to put my foot down.
Yeah, it does. My anger and my erection are not connected in any way. I don't know the science behind that, but I can tell you the math checks out. It's not going to happen.
I do know the science, and I'd like to introduce you to someone if you'd like to come back in a couple of weeks.
Sure. Well, I'll gladly talk to her about how I'm incapable
She
of
could
rage
score
boner.
you on that.
Yeah.
There's actually a category to give you a percentage
thing.
on that.
Maybe you just haven't gotten angry enough.
Yeah,
Jim.
that'd be. I'm surrounded by privilege, so it makes sense that I haven't gotten that angry. That'd be
But
weird.
psychologically,
That was actually
rage boners are a thing.
Yeah.
That was actually a brick to my head. I didn't know how to respond. Thunk. Yep. No, he's right. Ow.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if I got that angry. Like, it'll be weird where I'm just like, oh, that fucking show. What the hell?
I know this is such a deviant to the left, but like I feel like girls wise, when we get so angry we start crying. And you don't care about
but that makes sense.
Why do you think we're so afraid of you when you cry?
That makes sense, though. I can understand. I think I've gotten angry to the point of crying. That makes more sense than a boner.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
Okay.
My anger is more feminine?
No?
Speaking of rage boners,
Yeah.
Jimmy, we did go to see Endgame. You have opinions. You have thoughts. I have opinions. I have thoughts. Do you want to give us a quick 60-second rush through of Avengers and what you would fix?
Yes.
I'm ready.
And
Should I
go.
time him?
I really hate time travel movies because a lot of times they're not barely paying attention to the paradoxes that they might create. The one thing that I would definitely do with the paradoxes, because they said earlier in the film that the Ancient One said you can't take one of the stones because it's going to divert my reality to a completely different reality. And Hulk said, no, well, we'll bring it back at this exact moment and fix that. So don't worry about it. Everything will be okay. Yeah, Professor Hulk.
Professor Hulk.
But then Thanos came from the past, and they, supposedly, presumably, they ashed him. They killed him. You can't kill the past Thanos, otherwise why'd you go back in time? It creates a paradox.
Right.
What I would do, however, is the gauntlet has time, space, reality, and what was the other one I was going to use? Reality, space, time.
Soul.
I wasn't going to use soul. The concept is that instead of ashing everyone, I would just send them back to where they came from, the time period that they came from, and I'd wipe out their mind. And that would make everything consistent. No paradoxes.
Cool.
And the reality stone I would use to, because they're all beaten up, I would make them not so beaten up. I guess I could use that with time as well, but I just think that ashing was a cop-out, and I think that makes too much of a paradox.
Interesting. I have not seen these films, and I think it's fantastic because I personally love time travel movies.
Yeah.
So this actually makes me want to see this movie more.
Okay. My issue with it is that the only really good, consistent time travel movie that stays with within their rules of the film is Bill and Ted.
Really?
Yep.
This is true.
Not
However,
Back to the
at that
Future?
Not Back to
point,
the
we
Future.
are now officially 28 seconds outside of the zone. I'd say that's a pretty gosh darn good first attempt for the spoiler zone.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree with a lot of your opinions there. I
zone.
have some mild opinions, but those are for me to fuck with down the road. But,
Sure. What I really hoped from Endgame was that they planted seeds. Like, I thought that Captain Marvel was going to be more crucial to the story, and I thought that Ant-Man was going to be more crucial because Ant-Man and the Wasp ended with him in the quantum realm, and he had the quantum energy canister with him, and he absorbed all the quantum energy. And Captain Marvel got her powers by the engine that Marvel made that used the power of the Tesseract, which was the Space Stone. What I had hoped was that her power coming from the Space Stone and him with the canister of quantum energy was going to be important.
Could I ask a question as someone who has not seen the film, but has seen lots of memes? Did Ant-Man crawl up Thanos' ass?
He totally did.
No, actually,
He really
it wasn't.
did.
It wasn't his ass, though. It was the urethra.
He crawled up right up his butt.
No, it was the urethra, up the dick hole. He threw us all for a loop. Thanos' dick was pretty massive. Way less veiny than I expected, though. I thought it would at least have the
That's why it's called End Game, is that he went up the end.
However, I understand the symmetrical part because
Or-
he's got a little bit of a curve to his penis, and that's the complaint.
Because I also heard that he might get large and then stuff Thanos up his ass and then go small.
That's also what he did because it was time travel, so he was able to go up his butt, explode him, and then you know what? Thanos deserves another one, and went back in time and shrank Thanos. Went big and fisted up his butt.
Well, I mean, there you go.
It's the end game here. We're in the end game now.
Thank you for confirming that.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Well, that's all the time we have for. Haley, thank you for newsing us and being completely
welcome.
sober through the whole process.
Yeah, I was
Totally
completely
sober.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
You lose with booze, so don't drink alcohol, kids.
Stouts are terrible.
Stouts are terrible. Why would anyone want to drink it tonight
Because
after
they're
work?
fantastic.
Oh, I'm totally going to drink a stout. But
All
don't
right.
you lose with booze.
Well, thanks for coming over and drinking all of my alcohol, and I will look forward to Haley. We're looking forward to a fun next week.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh,
Is it coming? Is it happening?
Well, it's always coming. Next week's going to come no matter what. I mean, we're here now. Eventually, it's going
But
to be
is
another
the
Monday.
thing that we've been talking about for a long time that you keep warning about? is this happening?
A long time? I don't know. How long's a long time? I mean,
Since we started
Time
doing
is
this
relative.
a
together?
4-year-old, like an hour is forever, but once you're in your 30s, an hour is like a blink of an eye, so.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think we should end this podcast because I need to pee.
Me
Yes.
too.
All
High
right.
five.
Well,
Yeah.
Jimmy, thanks for joining as well.
Go on to binbettercomic.com. That's my website. At the top, there's a button called Clown Charity. Click on that and donate. Or not. If you don't donate, that's cool too, because I'm terrified of clowns. But if you donate...
Do it. Donate. Fuck 'em up.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for listening. If you like this episode, please click that like button, subscribe, share it with your friends, and tell your mom, because I know she likes us.
Just don't tell my mom.
Don't tell her mom. Or do. I might like that. That could go weird. Anyways, words, stuff, things.
Goodbye.
I'll...
Goodbye.
May the awesomeness be with you.